So we're gonna keep on doing it. Keep on just putting up a couple videos every day, at least one, or not two or three, depending on what's going on. Day in the life of a diabetic, right? So yesterday, I put up a video this morning, right before me and my daughter went inner tubing yesterday, and I did have to rip that sensor off. It probably would have been fine afterwards, but that's just one of those things. I didn't want to lose it. Had to take the pump off, and it was a great time. I wouldn't have traded it for the world, but had to remove a sensor that was pretty much brand new to make sure I got that experience with my daughter and didn't lose my sensor, which cost X number of dollars to replace. And I'm about to get the 670 in a couple weeks. I'm gonna have to turn that thing in then. So, all those concerns play into those decisions that diabetics have to make. In fact, I like this. I don't like the story, but 12 years ago, me and my wife were on our honeymoon. We were water skiing in Minnesota, and I was pretty religious about taking it on and off. And when the boat got back to the dock, we all jumped in the water, and I wasn't thinking. I had it in my pocket still, attached to my body, and jumped in, had a hairline crack on my pump, flooded it, done, was toast. And then we were in Minnesota. It was in the middle of the week, and at the end of that week, we were going to fly from Minneapolis to Hawaii and get on a cruise ship. So it was some stress, but the pump company Medtronic stepped up, sent me a new one, overnighted one, but that night, just not managing it with long dose insulin and needles. I hadn't done that in a while. It had been just pump management. My numbers went up that night. That was stressful. And a line of demarcation in your life is your honeymoon, or for me. And that's certainly a memory that will always be part of my honeymoon, is shorting out my pump after jumping in the water on a lake, and then the stress that came along with that. Those are just some of the little factors of being a diabetic that play into your life. My goal here, and maybe this is me solving my own loneliness. I don't get lonely at all ever that I know of, but maybe no one's watching this, but really I want everyone who's dealing with this disease, facing those trials and tribulations, to really not face them alone. They're not always going to be the same, but we're going to face some of those things together through this video series, and also people need to come back to it to just remind themselves that they're not alone in this battle. 99,999 of our decisions are made by ourselves. Every now and again our doctor helps us make one, but all these decisions that are ours are made here. And this disease is a mental disease, as far as not a mental disease as far as a sickness, but it's the mental capacity to deal with it is what it takes. You can have a pump, you can have needles, you can have insulin, you can eat right, you can eat healthy, but it's all takes place up here, and making those decisions. So, right now we're sitting at how can you see that? 138. I started the morning a little high because I went to bed, because I had an apple before bed. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I had an apple before bed, and my basal drops down overnight so I don't get low. And the apple, I didn't put anything in with the apple. I should have, and then my insulin level dropped off, and my fructose, the fructose in the apple went up, and I woke up a little high, which is, not really optimal. I think in this series I want to discuss a lot of things. My mind is racing every time I think about what to talk about, because I want to talk about so much. I know one talk I'll do in a little while is how I've fallen in love with the low, or I used to be in love with the low. Before my sensor, I really found a nice quiet place of solace between like 60 and 80, and I'm always so calm when I'm low, because being high is being a diabetic. Treating it, but my doctor, you're killing brain cells when you're low. But she had to kind of convince me over this past year that low place is not a place you want to really play with. And don't do what I do. I'm not a doctor. I'm a diabetic. I'll say that too. But I did find some peace in that low place. So like I said, we're gonna keep doing this. Hopefully, people aren't feeling alone out there. And we're just gonna keep documenting. Like I said, right now, 138. I don't know if you can see that in the sun. I didn't pick the best place. 137. All right, and we're just living life. Had to rip that sensor off yesterday. Today is back to work. Just chugging through the day. trying to get through it. So we'll do a series eventually on the 670G. I'll do an unboxing of that. You know, people are excited about that pump coming out. It's been out a while, but you know, I don't know how much there is online about it yet. A little bit, but we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep doing this, and you know, put some comments down at the bottom, questions, concerns, answers, whatever. You know, this is a place for community, but also a place for, you know, people to maybe find some commonality, community within this lonely disease. You know, so my name's Tom. Peace.